I've seen a lot of YouTubers just go on YouTube and say, in order to improve your efficiency, all you have to do is change the theme, the color theme, or install this extension, or install that extension, install Prettify, install whatever it is. In my opinion, that is all BS. I'll tell you why. Because do you think it really matters the color theme you have while you're coding? Do you think it really matters the color theme you have to make Facebook? Do you think Mark Zuckerberg was even like bothered by a color theme to make Facebook? No, that's all BS. What you need to do to improve your efficiency of code is literally this. It's as simple as that. You need to improve the way you think. You need to sharpen your brain. That is what you need in order to code efficiently. Because I'll tell you, that is your primary goal. That should be your primary goal, to fix your mind when you're coding, to make your brain smarter instead of installing all these secondary extensions or these. This is all secondary. Okay, you must focus on first as a programmer to develop your algorithmic thinking skills. Okay, now what do I mean? Algorithmic thinking basically means to think like a computer. And thinking like a computer is what gets you to make efficient code without bugs that runs efficiently and that can last a very long time, that can be read by other programmers, that can like stay on the system without bugs, bug free, and yeah, it just stays there like a one-time legendary system. In order to design that, you need to have a good brain. It's very simple. Instead of having a good color theme. Now, I'm not saying color themes are bad. Like, of course, you need color themes if you're working in like dark environments and you have a white color theme. That's kind of stupid. But what I really mean is you need to develop your thinking skills. Now, okay, I've said that. How do you go about doing it? Well, there are a lot of ways, of course, but one of the ways to go about it is to actually, before you write down anything, before you place your hands on the keyboard, restrict yourself from placing your hands on the keyboard before you write the code. Put them on your seat like this. Lie back and think, what are you about to write? Let's say I'm about to design a game, and in this game, I want my player to shoot someone, and I have to write a code for that. How will I think? Well, first of all, I'll think, okay, I'll need the player to shoot someone. Do I have a player? Yes, I do. Okay, so that's sorted. Now, to shoot someone, I need to make a gun. Okay, so let's make a gun. Okay, I have the gun now. What do I need then? Then I will need some physics. I need some physics of how the bullet will go about literally like shooting someone. Will it go like this or will it go just straight all the time? I need to think about that. And if it's gonna go like this, what are the formulas of physics that you're gonna apply? If it's gonna go like this. And will there be sound needed? Okay, yes. When I shoot, I'll need some sound. Okay, so I need to get the sounds. Okay, and once it hits somebody, do I need to update something on the screen like kill, headshot? Do I need something like that? Okay, I need that. So I have that in my head too. Once I do everything I mentioned before, then I'll go on about doing that. And then what do I need? And then I need the player to the enemy to die. How will the enemy die? Will he just disappear? How will he die? Or will he fall on the ground? If he falls on the ground, what are the physics of him falling on the ground? How will I design those physics? You know, so this is a really simple process that I just laid out right now. And yeah, this is an even simplified version of what actual like these smart developers do, right? They actually like sit there, think about like 15-20 minutes, even longer, like an hour, have discussions. They know exactly what to do before they are writing the code. And that is why they're so efficient. Instead of spending 5 hours fixing some random bugs that you haven't thought about, that you don't know why they appeared. Instead of doing that, they sit there for 1 hour, they think, they make sure what they're thinking will not produce any bugs. And if it will produce any bugs, what are the solutions for those bugs in the case that they do rise, right? So that is how the pro developers are thinking. And then they get on the coding. They don't get on the coding, oh, I have to shoot, that person will die, let me just code it. No. Then, because if they do that, they're just gonna start coding and then they'll be like, why have I coded this now? Why have I coded the person dying when I haven't even gotten the physics of the bullet? I don't even know if the bullet's gonna go like this or like that. Why have I coded the person dying? Well, let's go back one step. Oh, why have I done this? Let's go back one more step. Oh, one more and one more. And then they just keep going back, and then once they get the back, they come forward again. That's not a really efficient process, right? That's going to take you literally a lot of time, and it's going to produce a lot of errors. Now, speaking of errors, of course, they arise every time you write code, every time they arise. How do you deal with them? Now, again, the strategy that I just mentioned. Think, this bug has just appeared on my console. What does this bug even mean? Do I know what it means? Well, if I do know what it means, let's see how I can fix it. Or if you don't know what it means, it's literally as simple as copying the error, pasting it on Google, and going to the first link, which is usually Stack Overflow, or maybe sometimes it's going to be GitHub, but mostly it's Stack Overflow. Go to that link. What do other people say about it? Okay, let's apply this guy's solution. Does it fix my solution? No. Let's apply this guy's solution. Does it fix my problem? No. So this is the process you need to go through to fix bugs. But let's say you know what the bug means and you think you can solve the bug without searching it on the internet and wasting some time. Well, to do that, you need to get to a level of, I'd say, mastery, because if you're designing some sort of complex system, then the bugs are usually going to be about version history, or this version is not compatible with this version. Like, I've gotten it many times. For example, when I'm coding in React, I get problems with React and Electron working together, and some dependencies that, yeah, they just don't work. So I have to search for these dependencies, like 4.8.1.2.3. Like, these numbers are big, and to remember them, you of course need to be more experienced in programming. So I would say that if you're a beginner, don't try to solve bugs by yourself when you don't know anything about it. Don't go and change some random settings in like Visual Studio, or don't go change some random code, and if it fixes it, don't be like, aha, I fixed the code. Well, you just deleted the part that produced the error. So, and that was a really important part. So now I just deleted it. Of course, it fixed the code, but it takes away a functionality, or yeah, it takes away a functionality from your software. So you don't want to do that either. And that is why I'm saying, if you have any sort of error, search it up on the internet first, because it is very likely that somebody else got the same error as you and got many answers for that error. And one of those answers might just help you. And it doesn't take a lot of time, it takes only like maybe 1 or 2 minutes. But there are some bugs that you need to fix by yourself. And don't be like tired of it. Oh my god, I have to fix this bug. Oh my god, I have to do that. I always think of bugs like as a puzzle, because I think, can this bug really stop me from making the software? Am I really that dumb that I can't solve a bug? No. So I'm telling you, if you can't solve a bug, if you've thought about it, not thought about it, but like if you went to Stack Overflow, you can't find solution to any of it. Go word by word in each of the bug. So like if the bug says TensorFlow dependency 4.0.1 is not compatible with Python 3.12, 3.1, isn't compatible. Well, deconstruct each word in that bug. Search each word up in Google. and see whether you know enough about all of those words. I guarantee you will find a solution. Because if you think what the bug is really saying, what the error is really saying to you, what the exception is saying to you, you'll understand, okay, this must be the problem. This must be the problem, so let me just fix it. For example, the error I just mentioned now, let's say I search up TensorFlow version this, TensorFlow version that. I'll come across a documentary of TensorFlow. I'll see what versions is this TensorFlow version compatible with for Python 3.1, right? I'll come across the documentation. I'll read the documentation and then I'll find out why my code does not work. All right. Internet, you'll find most of your answers. So now we've discussed how you can solve the bugs. But there are some bugs that take a lot of time to solve. Like in my opinion, if there's a bug that you can't solve for more than an hour, if a bug takes you more than an hour to solve it, leave everything, literally post the bug on Stack Overflow or GitHub or any website you like, but depending on what technology you're doing it in. For example, if you're doing Unity, then you post it on like Unity help, then you'll find more relevant answers there. But if you're doing it in like any programming language like Java or C++, you'll mostly find like Stack Overflow answers the best. So post your things on Stack Overflow, and then from Stack Overflow you'll get an answer. If depending on if people find it, you'll get an answer pretty quick, and then your problem will most likely be solved. Because in my opinion, if you spend more than an hour doing bug fixing instead of trying to go in trying to develop your program in another area, it's really time consuming. So don't spend more than an hour fixing your one bug, right? Don't. Post it on Stack Overflow, you'll find the answer. And now, this was, so we discussed so far your brain, right? The ability of your brain to think can help you improve code efficiency, because the brain helps you take steps, formulate steps. It helps you think about what you're doing, what the bugs mean, how you can fix them, right? So that's the brain part. And that is primary. So I'm telling you again, fix your brain. Fix the way you think. And another way you can do that, fixing the way you think, is by actually writing your ideas down on paper. Now I know it sounds kind of cringe, like, oh, okay, you write your whatever algorithm down on paper, you will see how it maps out, you'll make the flowcharts, diagrams. No, I'm not saying make flowcharts, make diagrams, because I know they might be a little time consuming. But I'm just telling you to get an overall idea of what you're going to do on paper. Because it's proven that when you write something on paper, you tend to remember it. It's happened to me a lot of times that I had all the steps in my brain. Like was when I was beginning, I was in that experience. Like when I was beginning, I just thought about it in my brain, and then I forgot like halfway what I thought about. So that's again really time consuming. So I would suggest that whatever you think about, write it down on paper and make like a basic diagram of what you're going to do. Okay, this is the first step, the second step, third step, and then you can even make like small pictures of what you're going to do. Like if you're making a game, you can make pictures of, okay, the player shooting somebody, and then what's going to happen at each moment when he's shooting, right? You can just make that on paper, you will remember it even more. And it's just going to be a lot easier for you to go forward with it, right? This was all like primary things. This is what you need to do, primary. Now, let's come to the secondary steps you can take. Well, the first step I'd say is, fix your color theme, because most developers tend to work in environments that are not sunny. I mean, I haven't really seen developers who are working in a garden or in a uh, or on a terrace. I haven't seen developers really do that. Like in out there in sunlight, they don't program out there in sunlight. They should. I mean, I would like it, but if there was an internet connection, a plug, everything outside, I go outside and program, because who doesn't like the sun, right? But if you're not outside in the sun and you're inside, you're in like this illuminated, like like light bulb setting. You really want to get your themes right. Why? Because let's say if you're in a room like this and I'm on a monitor, and this monitor is just producing like white light, white on my eyes. To me, it's really straining. First of all, because I'm sitting like this and white is it's just like it doesn't match. So what I have is usually, yeah, dark themes, as every programmer has. Dark themes. It just takes away the pain from your eyes, allows you to think better, right? Just gonna it's just gonna let you think better, because you don't want to be focused too much on your eye pain. And because, for example, sometimes when I have a bug, I'm like, okay, what does that say? What does that say? What does that say? So I'm really like leaning into the screen, and I don't want to lean into the screen when it's like very white there. So that's one of the things you can fix. And another thing that you can fix is getting your extensions right, because there are a lot of productive extensions on Visual Studio. If you're coding on Visual Studio Code, there are a lot of helpful extensions. For HTML, I can say like prettify code, because, for example, sometimes you need to copy embed code from other websites and paste it into your HTML, and sometimes like all the div containers, everything's just in one line, or it's just really messed up. So if you install like the prettify extension, then it's gonna lay out everything in like a hierarchical structure, and it's gonna be like really nice to see. It works for CSS, JavaScript too, I think. Yeah, works for them too. And if you're using, let's say, Python, then prettify works for Python also. I think there's a version for Python. So yeah, you can use all these extensions to these are really for understanding your code, right? When you read it again, like prettify and stuff. And then what you can use is, there was an extension. There was some sort of extension. I'm trying to remember. Okay, so I just remembered it. I was going to talk about ChatGPT. Now, I must say it's a really, really useful tool. If you know how to use it, it can literally write the code for you, and you just have to give it like prompts. I've had ChatGPT make like entire website with chatbots. Can you imagine that? Like entire a website for a company that sells three services related to consulting, like data science consulting, machine learning consulting. Like I've had ChatGPT make a website, like full stack website that's looking absolutely beautiful. Three services, each of them having like online booking. So like if you click on book now, like a meeting, it can actually book a meeting. It opens up a window like from to choose from your calendar which times you're free. It can literally do that and have a chatbot function in it. Isn't that interesting? So now comes the very actually this is also related to your head, to your mind, because using ChatGPT is a matter of how you think, right? If you think smart, then you can use ChatGPT. Like smart thinkers, they know they can code it themselves, but they don't, because they know ChatGPT does it in 1 minute. ChatGPT does literally everything in If you had something to do for 8 hours, let's say you had to program a function of some calculator app that took you 8 hours for some reason. ChatGPT can literally do it in 10 minutes if you know what prompts to give it. And this is really, really important because you need to learn how to use ChatGPT. You literally need to learn it because giving prompts to an AI is a skill. Giving the right prompts to an AI is a skill, and that skill will be like really valuable in the job market. Just a side note, you know. So yeah, ChatGPT is also going to improve your efficiency, and it can improve your efficiency by like 200, 300, 400%, right? So that's really good. Learn how to use ChatGPT. It can be used in bug fixing. It can be used in code writing. It can be used in code generation, whatever, right? So it basically does all the code for you. It solves the bugs for you. But if you don't know how to give it a prompt, like, okay, I have this bug, can you solve it for me? And it gives you some shitty answer, then there's a chance that you've probably given it a shitty prompt. So yeah, you need to learn how to give it a prompt. It doesn't give you the right answers right away. It takes some time, but that should be okay with you. Because yeah, it doesn't matter if it takes some time. What you need is like a long term, you need a long term skill because you're gonna use ChatGPT for the next like 30, I don't know, 10 years. Like tools like ChatGPT you're gonna use in the future. So you need to learn how to give these tools some prompts and get an answer in return. So I would also suggest that while you're fixing the bugs, try giving the bugs to ChatGPT and see how it gives you an answer. And in the process, like just learn how to give it a prompt. So that's a really useful skill. I use it all the time. And now that was ChatGPT. Yeah. And then another small thing I'd like to add, like this is you can consider this primary. You can consider this primary, but some people who don't like it will consider it secondary. Whenever you're coding, don't just sit on your desk for 2 hours, 1 hour. Like imagine sitting on your desk for an entire hour. That's bad. Like that's bad for your body, that's bad for your health and stuff. You know that already. Well, if you didn't, I just told you. It's bad for your health to sit down all day on your computer. Common knowledge. So, what you should do is after every 30 minutes, crack like 50 push ups. 30 minutes, 50 push ups, 30 minutes, 50 push ups. And it depends on what level of, like, what physical level you're at, your physical capabilities. If you can't do 50 push ups, like, do 10. If you really can't do 10, then do 10 knee push ups. If you really can't do 10 knee push ups, then walk. Like, there's always an alternative, right? There's always an alternative, so you can't give an excuse. Physical exercise is really important. And don't be like, oh yeah, I just did 50 push ups today for, oh yeah, I did 150 push ups today, that's my workout. No, that's not your workout. Your workout should be, like a long, like 1 hour long, 2 hours long, like a proper workout. You should have that because it's really gonna get the blood flowing to your head. It's really gonna get you energized. Like okay, I'm back in the game, back in the game. Because sometimes I'm just sitting there like, what am I even doing? Let me just do a workout, and then I come back energized, work again. It's just like your productivity. It's dropping, it's dropping, it's dropping. You work out, and then boom, it rises again until you sleep, and then sleep. It's the same, same, same. Like this is the sort of graph that's going. So you need to maintain your productivity, and in order to do that, physical exercise. It's really important, and YouTuber no YouTuber in the space will tell you this because they don't do it themselves. They don't do any physical exercise. yeah, they sit on their desk all day. You don't want to be that type of person. Like, really. You really don't want to be that type of person. And if you're going to the gym, like benching, squatting, that's really good. So you need to keep your physical abilities to you. You need to try and take them to the maximum potential, and don't sit on the desk. It's gonna kill your productivity. It used, I, it happened to me before. I was just sitting on my desk for like an entire day trying to code something, and I couldn't get much done as compared to when I was sitting on my desk for 30 minutes, 50 push ups, 30 minutes, 50 push ups. I was actually getting to do more. Because, like, this is gonna sound crazy, but like when I'm doing push ups, I'm thinking, like, okay, how can this bug be fixed? One, how can this bug be fixed? Two, three, four. How can that be fixed? Like, I'm doing diamond push ups, and then I'm thinking, okay, like, whoa, every possible permutation is going through my brain about how I can make my code better. What am I gonna code? You know, so it's gonna boost your productivity. That is for sure. And if you don't want to exercise, you're missing out, bro. You're missing out on a lot of health benefits. You're missing out on a lot of productivity benefits that other people are gonna have, but you won't have. Okay? So, I'm telling you, either like work out 1 to 2 hours a day, and if you can't even do that, like, you should be able to do it. If you can't even do that, do 50 push ups after every 30 minutes. So, that would be my advice for you to boost your productivity, to boost your efficiency with which you write code. I hope you like this video. See ya.